Hi there, I'm Jason Ball, and this is Life After News. This episode is literally a masterclass in how to become a major influencer. Lora McLaughlin Peterson has an online audience of more than 2 million people, and today she's going to tell you how she did it.
Jason, hi.
Hi, Lora. I'm so excited to see you. When I started this, I said this to someone else too, but I really did. When I started this and the idea, I'm like, I got to get Lora McLaughlin.
You
Lora
are
McLaughlin
so
Peterson.
cute. You are so cute. And you know I adore you, so I'm thrilled. You're
The
so
last
cute.
time I feel like I had contact with you, you were going off to have a family and you gave birth to a media empire.
Right, you're so cute. You're so funny. Yes, it kind of went exactly like that, Jason. It kind of went exactly like that. You know,
You're a
overnight
mega
sensation.
influencer.
Overnight sensation, right?
Well, no, I know it's a lot of hard work. That's what we're going to
Right?
talk to, because I'm sure there are millions of people out there trying to do exactly what you're doing with not near the success that you're doing. And I love it. I love it. You've got 1.3 million followers on Instagram.
Right. So we've got over 2 million across all the
All your
platforms.
platforms, yeah. 370 on TikTok, 50 on Facebook, almost 60,000 on YouTube. You've got an LTK store and an Amazon store. I mean, you're Martha Stewart for the 2025s.
Like your style. Yes. Yes. The modern day budget Martha Stewart. I think
Yes,
budget is
Martha
the important, the important part. But yes, yes.
I love it.
And
I love it. So go ahead.
no, I was going to say, and you were there for the beginning of it. You probably don't know it, but I mean, it really was all about you.
It was all about you. Yes.
Right? It was. You were there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It started with all about you. And when we started that segment back in the Mesozoic era, when nothing like it had been done, remember that? And the website was just starting, and we stuck it on the website, and the hit people just came in. I remember the website folks coming over to me going, we've never had people click on something like this, because I think people were just intrigued. So you and I started this a long time ago.
Yeah. So let's backtrack a little. So you and I worked at KCAL together, and you did a segment that was created by our boss at the time, Nancy Bauer Gonzalez, and it was called All About You. And it was kind of what, I mean, it's really what you're doing now, but explain what it was.
It was kind of your guinea pig and guide to what's new and hot. I think that was the catch line. Yes.
But it was mom hacks. It was just kind of cool stuff, interesting things. And I love the title, All About You. And what made you decide? Because you did go off and have a family.
I did. I'd already been married once. I'd already done that once. And I was like, oh my God, let's do it again.
Betsy.
Why not? Why not raise kids for 36 years straight? Let's do it again. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How did this start, I guess? How did LORAfied start?
So I was with the network. I was doing the CBS, news path, and had left local news and was doing that for a while. And as you keep having kids and trying to figure that out, the network is a lot of travel if you're a correspondent. Right. And a lot of people think it's glamorous and, oh my gosh, that's the holy grail. If you're in news, right? You think to yourself, I've got to get to the network. I've got to get to the network. And it turns out the network is a completely different beast. The beauty of local news is that when you go to bed at night, you're done for the day, because what you're covering tomorrow hasn't happened. Remember that? It was true. You could at least shut the door, go to bed, and be like, okay, my work here is done, right? Unless you were on something crazy like a Scott Peterson trial, which I was on for a little bit. But for the most part, right, Jason, we could just tomorrow's a brand new day, clean slate. We have no idea when our heads hit the pillow what was going to happen the next day. Right. So that was the beauty of local news. And I felt like when I went to the network, they could say, we've got some trapped miners in Utah. You're going to be gone about 3 days. And 11 days later, because stories keep happening, right? Whether a big and important person dies and they fly you to that funeral, whether they fly you here, 11 days later, you're not home. You are at a TJ Maxx in a strange town buying underwear.
100%. And I mean, it is a cool job because you get to see a lot, you get to learn a lot, you get to do a lot, but it's rigorous.
People have no idea. And you really do have a front row seat to life. Right. And so the biggest shows of the day, as you know, anymore are those morning shows. So New York would stick you on morning, but for the West Coast correspondents, that meant you started going live at 1:30 in the morning.
Right.
And its quality of life immediately goes downhill. As a network correspondent, you have a great time. You're very lucky to have that view of the world. We're right there in all the action. But I was like, wow, this is just not sustainable with kids, dogs, traveling. My husband travels for work too. So I was like, I better pull back on this. So I kind of pulled back, would do stuff once in a while for them, started freelancing, would do something for Showtime, would appear in random things here and there. Right. And I always wanted to do something. I even started a newspaper column that was in a few newspapers in the South because I just had to do something. I'm a creative. You know that you're a creative because you were in news. It's like we all have this creative energy, and I had to figure out what to do with it. But I was also balancing all these kids. And so as they got older, and then COVID hit, my oldest, Betsy, said, Mom, you need to start doing all this wacky stuff you do around the house on social media. I didn't even know what a story was. I had never done a reel. The most I had done is post a picture of a vacation so my mom would know we're alive. Really. My biggest posting until 2021 was proof of life pictures for my family. So I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She had to help me figure this out. Like I remember thinking, I'm never going to understand how to do a story. I've never edited. I've been blessed to be in big markets. I've been blessed to be in union shops where I wasn't allowed to touch equipment. I wasn't allowed to touch a camera. Right. And so at that time, I mean, the world's changed, but you know what I'm saying, Jason, back when you and I were in LA together, it was the lines were drawn and you had to only be in your lane. And I knew how to write and produce and I had the ideas, but now I found myself learning how to edit. So everything you see, I have edited. Every piece of material you see on LORAfied, I've done.
I mean, that's what I've learned.
I can't believe it.
That's what I've learned doing this podcast. I'm like,
Yeah.
record it, I edit it, I post it, I cut the clips from social media.
Yep.
It's time consuming, but it wasn't as time consuming as it would have been in the old world where it was great to have a lot of people, but also kind of slowed the process down. And the technology just wasn't nearly as fast as it is today. I actually made my own graphics with Chat GPT and it helped me make my logo.
I love it. And I did in the beginning too. I did at the very beginning of LORAfied too, because it's like you don't have a budget, right? So any budget that you're doing is coming from your own account, right? And so, yeah, something else from food, clothes, shoes, whatever. And so in the beginning, it's like, but the nice thing is, and I will say, the thing that helps folks like you and I that do have that news background, we come to the table with the vision. I love research. I love ideas. And I will go out and pound the pavement. I'm not afraid to do digging and figure this out. I'm also not embarrassed to do stuff like run through Costco in a shopping cart. A lot of people are. And the looks we get, it embarrasses the heck out of my family. I mean, Scooter will literally go, how many people saw you run through Trader Joe's in that lap for that last shot? And how many times? How many times did that take? And I go, do I count the one where I ran into the employee? And he's like, sweet mother of pearl. I mean, literally, but I don't care. That was those years of news of just, I want to give the information to people. I'm a big information person.
I don't know how you did at Trader Joe's because every time I'm in there, it is packed.
Yes. Well, I'm not joking. It is tricky. It is tricky. Now they kind of know me, right? And I still bebop around to several because I don't want to bombard just one, but they all know me now. But in the beginning, the managers would come over and go, hey, what's going on here? What's going on? And I go, I'm telling people how to make, a barbecue for $60 for 8 people. And I go, using everything from Trader Joe's. And he goes, carry on. And I was like, yes, right? I mean, it has been dicey. I mean, we have been in Walmart, and even to this day, even though I have a fantastic relationship with Walmart, people will come up that work there and go, I'm not supposed to be letting you do this. And I go, that mirrors $1,000 on Pottery Barn, right? And she goes, really? And I go, yeah, you've got some incredible dupes. And she goes, okay, all righty then. I didn't see anything. So it's like, if you're not ready, it's you have to have that personality, right? You have that personality, Jason. I have that personality. Anybody who's worked in news, who has ever cold called anyone, showed up at anyone's door with a microphone rolling, right? Rolling, I might add, is able to do that. You can't train that. You can't train that. That's boots on the ground. You've got the experience. Or you don't, right? Or it scares the bejesus out of you.
So let's talk a little bit of what you're actually talking about. So it's Betsy came up with this idea. I love that. And where did the name LORAfied come up with?
Betsy and her girlfriend Anita, that we call Kid One 1.5. So I've got kid 1, 1.5, kid 2, and kid 3. And they would say years ago, they started this. Like we would do gingerbread houses at Christmas, and they would be doing just the typical gingerbread house. And they'd get to mine, and I've done the Barbie dream house. I didn't even give it any thought. I was just like, I'm going to do the Barbie dream house. They're like, of course you had to LORAfy this. Of course you did. And it was just a name that had been flown around the house for a long time. And so Betsy goes, you're going to call this LORAfied. You got to call this LORAfied. And I was like, what? I was like, nobody's going to watch. She goes, Mom, people don't know how to do this stuff. I go, yes, they do. She's like, Mom,
No.
we didn't have home ec. We didn't have home ec. And then that's when it hit me, Jason, because you and I were about the last, folks that had that opportunity. And I was like, wait, maybe there is a whole need out there for how to do things.
Yeah, you call it modern home ec class without the test and baked Alaska, but what's wrong with baked Alaska?
maybe a baked Alaska because they're hard, right? They're notoriously, maybe a baked Alaska. We'll see.
My husband, it's his favorite. My husband Troy, it's his favorite dessert, but I will never make it. I think he just likes it because it's on fire.
Well, yeah, anything on fire, cherry flambe, bananas foster, anything they come to the table in light, I'm in. At a Greek restaurant, it's the cheese, so I'm with Troy.
Yeah, I just don't want to make it I don't want it in my house.
I know. It's funny because it's a lot easier than you think, but it's one of those things that was the first thing we had to make in home ec. We made that in 6th grade. Mrs. Rohde's class, Pittsburgh, Kansas. Mrs. Rohde's class, we're making baked Alaska. That would never happen today for so many reasons. Yeah.
So you've got several little, but by the way, I love that you call everybody sis in the, explain that. That's kind of a Southern thing, right? Well, and also, a Midwestern thing, yeah.
Yes, but also, I'm the baby of 9. And I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. So literally everyone in my family is sis or sister, except my 2 brothers. And they're just outnumbered. They're just outnumbered. And so really it came from that, especially my sister Tree. We're always like, love you, sis. Love you, sis. And it's just, we've always done it. And I didn't even realize I was doing it until people started going, do you realize you call people sis? And now people literally, on a plane 2 weeks ago, a flight attendant saw me walking down going to my seat. She goes, hey, sister. And I was like, we just knew, right? We just knew. And it's really the cutest thing because I do feel I love my followers. Let me just say that. I have the best followers in the world. I just love meeting them. They have to get hugged and they know it. So I warn all of them, you know that, Jason, I'm a hugger. So it's like, if you see me, I'm going to hug you. And so I just think I have a really fantastic community of like-minded people that are just trying to life a little bit easier, right? On a budget. We all want to save money, but live a little bit fancier with what we've got, And so it's just, I love it. It's a nice, touchy-feely, I'm the happy channel, really. I'm the happy channel.
Lots of great energy coming out of it. What was you started on Instagram. So what was the first big video you're like, that's what they like? Or was there a moment like that where you because the audience often helps you define your product because it's instant social media is great because you do get that instant feedback. That it's not like TV where we're guessing for, until we get the ratings booked.
4 times a year, right? Like, oh my God, that didn't work 6 months ago. No, that's right. It's immediate. And that's a fantastic point. So the first year, since I had no idea what it was to be an influencer, I didn't know what anybody wanted from a midlife woman. Did they want anything, first of all? And so I did it all. For the first year, I was just kind of doing everything. I was doing the Target fashion hauls and I was doing the, the beauty and the da-da-da-da. And that really isn't my wheelhouse. In fact, I don't know how fashion bloggers do it. I give so much credit to those gals and guys that are constantly doing the fashion, changing, how they're changing clothes and they're walking in a new coat, a new skirt. Da-da. I'm just like, oh my word, it's overwhelming. So no one's here for the fashion. And I quickly learned that. Nobody was coming to me for fashion or beauty. 1 and 2, that wasn't happening. And I would say the big moment, so a year in was spent going, what am I? What am I? By year 2, I was like, wait, my little hacks that I didn't realize were handy are people kind of like those. And I was like, that's my wheelhouse. That's what I do better. I think it's all these decades of being a mom. I mean, I've been raising kids nonstop for 32 years right now. And Jack is only a freshman in high school. By the time it's all done, it will be 36 years of raising kids. And by the way, God didn't intend for that. Just going to tell you right now, God meant 18. He really meant 18. He really did. So the fact that I doubled that is just loony. But I want to say, the 10 years of being a single mom, making it all happen, I really learned a lot. And I didn't realize that was a gift. That was an absolute gift. So every job I've had, Um, God, how to make a budget, paying the
Mm.
bills, even in news, where we made, the money wasn't amazing, but it was decent. Like I owned my own condo, I had a car, I mean, I didn't have any bills, I had no debt, I could take vacation, but you're still living in LA. And if your kid's in private school and you're doing all this other stuff, you're going to stroke your check. And at the end of the week, you're like, oh my God, okay, everything's paid off. Well, how are we going to eat? Right? No, seriously, it would be a real
Mhm.
conversation. Like, how do I do this? And so I, at the time, and still a little bit today, definitely do this. I would start at the cheapest grocery store and get everything I could at the cheapest grocery store, then move up to the grocery stores to get only, let's say I would go to Gelson's very last, only to get things that I needed but were not available anywhere else, starting at the Dollar Tree. So it was always Dollar Tree, Trader Joe's, like Ralph's, Bonds, that world, and then a Gelson's. Gelson's and then Whole Foods was just, I mean, to walk into Whole Foods was a big deal. So I think I didn't realize at the time what a gift all that was, right?
Mhm.
Learning. And plus, I'm the baby of 9, watching my mom spin plates, working full time and kids and husband and all that stuff. It's like learned a little bit there, didn't know that was a gift. And I just think the universe and, has just given me all these signs over these years. And I was like, this is my wheelhouse. This I can do. I can raise kids. I can get dinner on the table for a budget. I can entertain for next to nothing, right? We just threw the prom pictures for kid 2. She's graduating this year. 400 people, 48 hours notice. Had to invite the whole class, family, the whole thing. I went to Dollar Tree and Costco and pulled that off. And people were like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I guess a lot of Dollar Tree and Costco. And they go, no, it's not. No, it's not. We don't believe you. I was like, yeah, girl, this is all Dollar Tree. It's like I still go there today. That is never leaving me. I am a budget shopper. I can't pay full price for anything. It drives me crazy. And so it's like, so those weird things have become that some people think are weird because they want the convenience. I will still go the extra mile. So that's how I'm ingrained, right? And you understand Pittsburgh, Kansas, Jason,
Uh-huh.
right? It's like I'm from a small town and it's like I will never forget where I'm from. And so I think those are all helpful. If you just figure out who you are and share who you are
Mhm.
and what you're interested in, forget the fashion, the beauty, the food. Figure out what resonates with you. If you are really good at some sort of random auto mechanic thing and you love it, get on Instagram and start doing it. Your people will find you. I'm being serious. It's like, but figure out what makes you tick and what you like. What are you the expert at? Right.
Correct.
And I think that's really the best advice versus trying to be what other people want you to be. I spent a year doing that. I spent a year on this platform, spinning my wheel, making no money, husband complaining that we're bleeding money on this. He's like, oh my God, this is just a money suck. When are you going to start making money? And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Give me 2 years. And sure enough, to your point, you go back and look at those reels. What did people like? It was mashed potato hack that was picked up by Newsweek magazine. Boom, now we're off to the races. Right, that's your sign. That's your sign. Okay, we're doing hacks. We're
And
doing
then
hacks.
when you first kind of then you realize you're doing more of that, and then was the growth more exponential? And
Yes.
after that,
Yep. People know your skill set almost before you know it. Sometimes I know that sounds crazy to say that, but it's like people know what they want to see from you almost immediately. And so, and also that again, still not fashion, right? Unless it's a savings, unless we're saving on some fashion dupes.
right?
That's a different wheelhouse. But I'm not, I think those fashion influencers, and I do track other folks and I see them try to veer off and do other stuff, their audience does the same thing. The
Mhm.
audience very quickly knows what you do, right? As a news director, you know that. Like anytime you tried to take a weather person on a breaking news story and stick them out there, and they can do it.
Yeah,
They can do it. And maybe they were a reporter in another market. This market, they're a weather person. They need to be telling the weather from Disneyland,
the
right?
audience is like, "What? I don't understand what's going on."
Exactly. It's
And they're smarter than
confusion.
you think.
It is. It is. And people don't realize there is a set people trying to break into the world of social media, very similar to news in that effect.
Yeah.
We've got our anchors. We've got our, I'm the surfing squirrel, right? I'm the surfing squirrel. I'm the D block. I'm here to make you happy. And hopefully in 40 seconds to a minute, you've learned something useful that'll save you money. I'm not the lead.
So it's mostly Costco, Trader Joe's, Walmart. I feel like this Walmart dupes is a whole life of its own.
It is. It's really wherever we find it. Like it was butter swim biscuits. That was just something we did in the kitchen. So if it is cooking, if it is home decor, if it can save you money. So again, back to the fashion, the only time I touch on fashion is when there's a good dupe to be had out there.
Uh-huh.
Not because I'm going to be like, hey, look at this great sweater
Well,
I just bought. It's like, I don't,
explain what your dupes are. What does that
um,
mean?
so a dupe would be a product, whether that be a food, whether that be something you wear, whether that's a chair for your house, that's just as good as the high end one. A lot of times these things are coming out of the same factories, but
My
you are
example
paying.
was you recently. I saw you did like some muffin or something from Starbucks, and you found
Mhm,
the exact
mhm,
same thing for Walmart for
mhm.
like a
A
fraction of the
fraction,
price.
a fraction. So it can be food related. And boy, I got to tell you, when we are doing these and doing the research, Trader Joe's has a lot of them too. Trader Joe's, oh my God, notorious for just relabeling, right? And I mean that in a good way, because no company, if you think about it, to turn a product out is very time consuming and very expensive. Very expensive. So all the ketchups in the world aren't coming from 50 different, or my God, how many ketchups are there when you go to the store, right? They're not all coming from different ketchup factories.
They're
Same
just
thing for
labeled
anything else.
differently.
They're labeled differently. Maybe a change or two has been modified to make them a little cheaper to manufacture, but it's not going to change your quality of life. If we're
Uh-huh.
talking a chair or an ottoman or a bed frame. And so that's where the real savings comes in. But you have to get out there and dig for it. You've got to get out there and dig for it. And people are also, there's this cachet that you kind of have to get over. And I think by our age, it starts leaving us that we have to have the labels. By our age, we're like, we know that doesn't matter. We'd rather save the money, right? Wouldn't
True.
you rather save the money and take a trip and have an experience versus carrying a handbag with a certain label on it?
It is true. The older you get, your priorities change
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
so, really, if you knew that you could get that pair of shoes at Target versus Nordstrom, and you're going to be happy to have the difference, that the $200 swing in the Nordstrom shoe and the $35 shoe from Target in your bank account, I'm going with the Target shoe. We try to really figure out, is this product going to be in next year? Right? How much time do we want to give this? But we really go test this stuff. We don't just get on there willy nilly and go, oh, hey, good luck. I mean, the Walmart one took some time. The Walmart dupes took some time. And there's some that I swear are being, they're just coming out of the same factory. They just are. And then that's when you shake your head. You're like, oh my God, Starbucks is charging $8, $9, whatever for this burrito. Right.
And it's just
And
for the
so
convenience, I guess, right? You go
the
and you get your coffee and
convenience,
your
that's right. That's
instead of
right.
having to
It's
go
for
to
the
Walmart.
convenience.
But you go to Walmart, you get a whole, from when I saw you go and you get a whole week's worth at one time.
I know, for the price of one at Starbucks. And so that's where it comes in. Like, really, people are on serious budgets. And that matters. So if you can maybe say to yourself, I'm going to pick up the lemon loaf cake at Walmart, still drive through and get my coffee, that's an easy lift. But you've saved yourself a lot of money that week. Those lemon cakes are about 4.50 to $5 a piece, depending on where you are in the country. Times that by 5 if you're working,
Hmm.
right? Save yourself 4 days of that. That's $20 a week. Now we're talking, depending on the month, 4 to 5 weeks, 80 to $100 right there. But you're still getting the same coffee at Starbucks. Like, those little things move the needle. Put that $100 into your trip account, right? And by the end of the year, there's $1,200. So little things like that. We're just trying to help people live better, right?
What's the feedback you get from? Are you getting like suggestions for stories? Because we used to get people would call and give us story ideas. Do you get your viewers give you things that you should be investigating?
Yes, people love it. People are constantly reaching out. Like, somebody asked me today for a dupe. They're like, hey, I'm looking for a dupe on this. What do you have? What do you know? Can you do a dupe with this? Can you do a dupe with that? It's great. I love it, because I feel like I mentioned, my community is a family. And I really do feel if we stuck all of my followers in a big arena, everyone would get along. Right. And we're just all like minded, here to save some money and just be happy. Right. And I just feel like that feeds good ideas. That feeds good, energy. Sure, there are a couple people out there that are like, oh, you should just buy the original. Sis, nobody has the money for the original. The
Good
original
for
is
you.
$1,200. Do you know what I mean? It's like that would be great, right? If we were all famously wealthy, fabulously wealthy, that would be fantastic. But I just think it just feels good to save money and get a deal, doesn't it?
And you feel your audience is multi-generational? It's young to older, or our age to young?
Yep, we've got it all, actually, which cracks me up. When we look at the demos, we've got the kids coming out of college that are just starting to life. How do I adult? How do I do these things? So we've got those kids, and then we've got, I call them kids, isn't that funny? Because I've got a millennial myself. We've got those young adults, and then a big swath is that 35 to 65. But then we have a set of folks that I find out that I've got a lot of grandmas following me because now they've got the kids back in their life. They're starting to adult, or they're just kind of curious, like, what's going on? Like, how can we do this better? I'm going to pass this on to my daughter-in-law. I'm going to pass this on to my son. I'm going to, so it's fantastic. I do like it because it's multi-generational. Right.
I mean,
And
I
it
always
really
wanted to
is.
do the segment I always wanted to do was like ask grandma, or in Spanish, it was
Yeah.
like ask abuela, because all those
Yes.
like home remedies that your mom and your grandmother told you, and
Yep.
all those different things, those have value, and that's great stuff.
No, and people love it. And I think we forget about it. I think we
Mhm.
get so caught up in the busyness of our lives because nobody has time anymore. The greatest luxury right now isn't money, it's time, right? And the older you get, it becomes a hotter commodity. So if you can help people have that time back, so my hacks are made not to craft, not to go to Michael's and buy all the stuff and craft all day, which I think is fantastic.
Right.
You come to me because you want to get stuff done so that if you are a crafter, you can spend time doing that, right? So recipes are just, my God, if we get over 7 ingredients, my head starts spinning.
I am the same way. I have a
Yeah.
rule: no more than 5 to 7 ingredients.
Yep. Yeah. It's expensive. It's time consuming. And then we're talking a lot of bowls to clean at that point. Right. So it's like, but we still need to eat and we still want to have something that is great to eat. Right. Instead of just another rotisserie chicken, which I'm a big fan of. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like things that will save you life, minutes, and money is why folks are here
Yeah.
for me.
Like this week, I talked to my mother. I'm like, it's getting hot again. I don't love to cook in the summer because it's too hot. We live in Palm Springs, so it's
Yes.
too hot. And she goes, well, use your crock pot. I'm like, I don't have a crock pot, but I do now. I went to Walmart.
Yes. Yes. And you can and go to LORAfied.com, Jason. I've got a lot of ideas for you.
So
By the
where
way,
do you get your
tell your mom I said hi. Your mom's so cute.
thank you, thank you.
She's darling.
Yes. Where do you create the recipes as well, or you kind of take other recipes and lorify them?
It's a mix, right? Some are from my family cookbook. Some I have LORAfied. Some I have pulled out of thin air. Like the other night, I made something out of thin air. So I need to tweak it a little bit. And a lot of people are asking for the recipe already. So it's like I'm hesitant to give something out unless I've nailed it. But it's a hodgepodge of everything. But if we're doing something like the butter swim biscuits, that is a fantastic biscuit. It's been around forever, but we did it a little quicker, right?
It
So I
looks
try to
amazing.
thank you. And they're so easy. Oh my gosh. Once you and Troy make those, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to kill her because we're eating biscuits every day all the time
Okay.
because they're so easy and they're affordable, right? So we try to do something a little bit, make it a little quicker or a little
Mhm.
cheaper. We do something to improve it each
I
time we
do
do
that.
it.
I try to simplify things. So I'll
Yeah.
read a recipe and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I feel like, and I've only been cooking really for like the last couple of years since we moved out here, and that you kind of learn what goes with what, and you can kind of make anything out of anything if you need to. And I'm all about using the food before it goes to waste too. I don't,
Yes.
if we
I'm a
have,
big,
some days it's just leftover lunch. We're having leftover lunch today.
yes, I'm a big leftover makeover queen. And
Oh, that's
so
good.
I will hop on at night and be like, it's leftover makeover night. And if Scooter's home, you hear him in the background go, oh. Here's the thing, I hate wasting food. It
Me
is
too.
like I am throwing a shirt into the compost bin in my
Can't do it.
head.
Me
Same
too.
reason I can't gamble in Vegas. I'm like, oh my God, there went a handbag. It's like I see these items that I put money on, especially food. Food's hard. Food's
Mhm.
a tough one to plunk down a lot of money on because you know you're not going to see it anymore. Right? It's like it's just it's going to be gone. So I even used last night some steak that we had from a couple of nights ago that we did on the grill. We chopped it up. We did breakfast for dinner. We did upside down breakfast. We did steak and eggs. That so that made an appearance again. I just don't feel good about tossing food. So I'm the same way. So there's a lot of recreations, if you
I
will.
love it. Leftover makeover. I'm going to keep that
Yeah.
in mind.
Yeah.
The other thing, when did this come about? Your low carb hacks at fast food restaurants.
Mhm.
That is genius because it's hard. If you're out in a rush and you need to eat, you're hungry and you need to eat something, and you go through a drive-through, 1,500 calories. Not if
Yeah.
you're Lorify it.
Well, here's the thing that came together in news, riding around in a news van, because your options would be making dinner at a Chevron, right? Going to a Chevron gas station and trying to, like, okay, how do I get my protein? Or grabbing something fast. And your body tells you pretty quickly you can't do that too many days in a row and feel
Mhm.
great. And so that started way back then. And so it's just now kind of taken on, a life of its own. It's like, what do I order at Starbucks? What do I order at McDonald's? And it's so handy. And I know some people will go, well, just don't order anything at all. It's really bad for you. It's like, let's be realistic about our lives. Everyone's busy. Everyone is going to be on a road trip, and the most appealing thing that you can choose from will be McDonald's. That day's coming, right? It's like, that's coming. It's like, here's what you order at McDonald's when you're stuck there. So I'm just trying to help people where they are. It's like, we still do it. I've got kids. We pull through all the time. And I'll be like, okay, so I'm Chick-fil-A. Okay, I'm going to do that Cobb salad with the Italian dressing. And so we just started sharing that information because it turned out, wow, people just wanted to know what to order, right? Can people figure this stuff out? Sure. Do they have the life minutes? No, nobody does. That took days of research figuring that out. What is the carb count? What is the protein count? When we stick this weird combo together, where are we at calorie wise, right? And so,
Genius.
yeah, that's it. We started in news, Jason. Started in news.
So tell me what LTK is and how your Amazon store works.
Okay, so like to know it is so there's basically two big ways to make extra money as an influencer. You can have your Amazon storefront where you sell products. So you could go on to the LORAfied storefront and buy whatever you and Troy would normally buy for no extra money. I end up getting a little bit, very little, but it adds up over the month. I will get a little bit of that, right? So I have different lists on Amazon. It will be my greatest hits for health, what's in my pantry, pots and pans that I use, beauty products I love, gift ideas for Mother's Day, whatever's coming up like Father's Day, we'll have a Father's Day list on there. So I basically curated Amazon for you. I'm showing you what I truly buy, what you truly see me using at night. If you tune into my stories, there's a lot of life going on in my stories. If you're not following along on stories, you're missing a lot right now. We've got ducks living in the backyard. It's like right now the conversation in stories is how do we get rid of these ducks? So sure enough, I'm going to end up with a list on my Amazon storefront, how to humanely get rid of ducks in the backyard. Get yourself the artificial snake, or you've got the artificial alligator. So you can put whatever you want there, right? So just as long as I think if I've mentioned it or it seems applicable to what I'm doing, it goes in that storefront. Okay. If it's not available on Amazon, there's something called LTK. That is where you can be the clearinghouse for Walmart, Target, Nordstrom, Neiman's, pretty much any brand. And they're almost all on there. Any decent sized brand will be on LTK. Same thing there. People will want to know, even though I'm not here for fashion, people will still want to know where the sweater came from, right? So this one came from Nordstrom. I will link that on my LTK. So if you're looking for something I wore, if you're looking for something that I featured from Target or Walmart, they're not playing with Amazon, right? They're not in the same sandbox as Amazon. You can go over and do it there. So those are the two clearinghouses. Again, you're not paying any more, but it's convenient. Okay, Laura's Reel on Walmart Dupes. Boom, it's all right here. And the links are all right there. You can just click the link and get what you saw in my reel. So it's really just a nice handy tool and a way for people to find stuff easily. And it's nice back end money, right? That's why you want to put the time there to build those storefronts, because people can shop while you're sleeping on those storefronts.
That's great. So all the Walmart dupes and all the dupes and things, those are on LTK.
Right. So they're usually on LTK. Walmart does have something called Collective Voice that I do stuff with as well. And so Walmart will do, but that's only really their stuff. That's kind of like again, Collective Voice is an inside baseball term, right? So if you're an influencer, you know about that. If you're not, the general public wouldn't know they're on Collective Voice. You know when you're on Amazon, and you know when you're on Like to Know It. You don't know when you're on Collective Voice.
So
Collective Voice.
You post a link and it's on Collective Voice, but
but it looks like you're shopping Walmart.
Okay.
Right. So those are kind of the big three, with that Collective Voice being more just Walmart. But it's a back end tool for Walmart to where influencers can still make some money for driving commerce to that site.
So I've
had to learn so much, Jason. I've had to learn so much.
I know, it's amazing. You're like a business person now.
I am not. I mean, I literally, have the journalism degree, and I kicked myself for not taking 1 or 2 business classes. That would be my best advice. I'm not kidding. I'm lucky to be married to Scooter, who is a spy, but he is a business spy. So that's the good news. And so he's been incredibly helpful. He brings to the table what I don't. He's not creative. He's not visual, but boy, he's good with numbers, and he understands the business component. And that has been incredibly helpful to helping me fast track and learn that.
So, because one of the other things I really love about this podcast is exploring this notion of small businesses and entrepreneurship. So what have you learned? What's the biggest thing I learned being a small business is you do everything. You're the accountant, you're the handyman, you're whatever needs to be done, you do it. What are the biggest challenges that you have run into, or the biggest surprises you run into about running a small business?
I think folks need to know it's way more work and way more hours than when I worked for you. and CBS and someone else, right? You get your check. It was very clean. It was very neat. I show up and work. You hand me a check every week. Very easy, transactional. When you start working for yourself, all of a sudden, I have an employee and she needs health insurance and taxes. And it is so much to wrap your head around. And there's no one else, right? Sure. Can you hire people? Yes. Where does that come out of? Again, you. It comes out of you, right? And so I think the biggest learning lesson here has been it is going to be a lot more hours. So make sure you love it. Make sure you absolutely love this. I would say at the very least, it's 40. It's never 40. It's closer to 60 a week. Easy 60. My normal state is probably 60 hours a week. This is the most I've ever worked at any job in my life. But
what
I also
love about it though, it's your schedule, your time. You're not going in, clocking in and clocking out, and you're not on someone else's schedule.
Right. But without that schedule, you find yourself being on all the time, almost like you're an emergency room doctor or a firefighter on a shift where you might be on 24 hours and get called at any time. Right. So that's what, and it's your name. Right. And so it's your baby. And you really all of a sudden have an appreciation for how hard it is to run a business. Right. It's something we were not prepared for in news. I think it's a hard shift to make coming out of news because there's something very relaxing about showing up, having a schedule, getting your paycheck, and just lifing. When you're creating something, there are a lot of hard days. There's a lot of days where, this reel doesn't come together.
We're also get it done people.
Yes. And
we can do the research, figure out how to fix this problem and move on.
Yes, that's an incredible skill. And that is going to work very well for you. The new skills that we brought to the table help exponentially more than any other skill you could bring. And so I've been very grateful. I just think the most surprising thing is how much work it is and the back end things that you don't care to work on. Kind of like when you were doing schedules. You weren't there to do schedules, right? You didn't want to do schedules, but you had to do schedules, right? Remember that? Remember you'd like, oh my God, okay, here's the schedule next
Thursday
week.
Again.
It's Thursday again. I need to talk to you. You're like, okay. And so I think that is the hard part. Like the taxes, that's real. Right? That's real. You're a corporation now, right? I'm incorporated. That's real. It's like all of these crazy things that you're now keeping track of and you're paying your own taxes. CBS isn't pulling that out for you anymore. And I think all of that was surprising to learn that. That seems so easy because you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many small business owners out there. I can do it. Wow. My props to every small business owner out there. My props. What has been hard? What has been the most difficult thing for you?
Well, the biggest thing was just kind of shifting my mentality, my mindset from, I'll be honest, my biggest thing was, if I'm not the news director at KTLA, who am I? That was the biggest, hardest part, to kind of redefine who that is. But I feel like I have got Troy's amazingly smart and a business person and an economist, so he's guided me through a lot of that. But just refocusing and figuring out how to run a business and what it actually means, and dealing with landlords. We had another business, and dealing with landlords and leases and all that part. I'm like, this is a little overwhelming, but you get through it. You do what you have to do. You do the research and you move on.
And the upside is you can do it from anywhere, right? So if I need to be out of town, I'll still figure out a way to get that post out. Right. I can do it from anywhere. I don't have to be in a set office. As long as I have my iPad, I can make it happen. Or my phone, right? So that is a plus. So I don't want to scare anyone away from doing this. But I do think the biggest thing I hear is, wow, I didn't know how much work this was going to be.
And make sure, to your point too, make sure you pay your taxes, because if you don't, they will find you.
And especially if you are on social media, they know where you are.
Yes. And the state of California is actually worse than the IRS.
They know, in California especially, knows where you are, right?
100%.
I do think that having the creative side is such a bonus. I do think coming out of that newsroom setting is a plus no matter what you do. You don't need to go on and be in social media. It's just such a people skill that is, the more you get out of it and into the real world. When you're in a newsroom, you assume everyone in the world is a people person, because no one is in a newsroom who's not a people person, right? We care about each other. We talk. How are you? Like, we know each other, right? Like, I've met your mother. Right? It's like we all care about each other. It's unlike any other job in the world. And then you get out into another career and you're like, well, that's kind of wild. Nobody, what's happening? Why doesn't anybody know anything? Right? I mean, because we're nosy people, right? We're nosy, friendly people.
Was it a challenge for you to figure out the monetization part of it?
Yes, because it's hard because you can't make money without a certain amount of followers unless you're a big star, right? And here I am as a nobody. So it's like, how do you make money and convince companies to do that? So even for the Amazon storefront back then, I think you had to have 200 followers. Right. So, and then they still have to approve you at that point. They don't give just anyone an Amazon storefront. You can apply for these things, but they need certain boxes checked because they don't want to waste their time and they don't want to waste their server building space on someone that isn't going to bring an audience to them because they're trying to make money too, right? They're trying to make the money as well. I would say those first couple of years, you can get people to send you product, right? You can get smaller companies to send you product that are just grateful that you are putting their name out there to even know whoever you have, 200, 1,000 people. But then I would say past 10,000, once you hit 10,000 followers, people start setting up a little straighter and paying attention.
And
More deals start coming in there.
Or product place? Is it?
Right. So a lot of people are going to ask you to do stuff just for their product. And that's going to be up for you. That's going to be up to you. I'm always very upfront with people and tell them, I really don't do this for free, like product trade out. I was given the high sign a long time ago. Sorry, I've got a hair in my mouth. I was given the high sign a long time ago. If you start taking product, let's say they call and say, we're going to send you $1,000 worth of bed sheets. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. And they're like, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you a code. We're going to send you $1,000 of our product. We'll keep track and see how well it does. And if it does well, then maybe we will talk to you about a paid partnership. Luckily, I was told a long time ago, don't ever do that unless you just want the $1,000 sheets because you will go on a list. They know who has agreed to do trade versus pay. So I was very lucky when I was small, much smaller than I am now, to get that info. So I've been very clear with people, happy to take a look at your product, but it's no guarantee I'm going to like it. It's no guarantee I'm going to do anything for it. And I also will not do any sort of collab or reel or post for anyone that I don't believe in, even in my stories.
That's really good advice.
Most of the things I see or do in my stories, I just show out of the goodness of my heart because I like the product. I really like this oil. If you're at the store, pick it up. It's a good deal. Healthy for you. Use this oil. And I say, look, these people don't even know I'm alive, which is true. Most of the time they don't. They have no idea who I am. But it's funny because the people will find you. The folks will find you that you're meant to pair up with. The brands that resonate with your audience are going to find you. And then at some point you're going to have so many coming in your inbox. You're going to be like, I just don't. There's just no way. And some you scratch your head at, right? Some you scratch your head at. Like, why would they ever think? Like the other day, somebody wanted me to do being completely candid, a breast pump. And I said, well, I'm flattered, but I know you have no idea who I am because I'm 55. So, a lot of people are cold calling, right? And just sending out to a bunch of influencers. Of course, you never hear back from those people, right? You never hear back from those people.
That's funny. So where do you see LORAfied going in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a lot coming up. Some things I can talk about, some things I can't. It's, I'm working on a couple of my own products. I can say that. I'm working on a couple of my own LORAfied products that we're going to do
amazing.
better quality, a little cheaper for you. So that's something I can share. I think there's going to be, by next spring, I think there's going to be an easier way to have access to my recipes talking in code. And happy to come back on and chat with you about that.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of good stuff happening. There's just a lot of good stuff. I think if you are walking through an airport this summer, I may surprise you on the airport screen once in a while with a segment or two.
Good.
So that should be happening. And you may see me pop up on a couple of national shows here and there,
Nice.
my little segments here and there. So it's all good. It's all happening. And I'm blessed. I'm blessed and grateful. And I take none of it for granted. My saying, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I'm just going to keep head down, making it happen and just keep building this. I've got big visions here.
I love it. I'm so happy for you and wish you all the success you deserve. And it's been great catching up with you too. Thank you so much for taking time to be on our little show. We'll have you back maybe in a few years.
You are a hidden gem. You are going to be big because once people realize you're out there, you're just the best. I adore you. I always have. We've always had a great connection. Always.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Love you to pieces.
Check this out. Butter swim biscuits. I made them myself and they're pretty good. I also made a video showing you how you can make them. Check it out on our YouTube page. If you want to stay in touch with Lora and LORAfied, she's on Instagram at LORAfied. That's LORAFIED. And on TikTok, the same at LORAfied, and then LORAfied.com. And all these links will be in the show notes. Next episode, which is out today as well, you're going to learn a lot more about me and my life after news and the hospitality industry in Palm Springs, and particularly all these small boutique hotels. I didn't know there were this many. There are like 80, and I didn't even know it until we moved out here. So it's a kind of interesting look behind the scenes of my life now. That episode is also out today. All right, if you like what you're doing and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, give us good ratings, check us out, tell your friends. You can also watch all of the episodes and clips on our YouTube channel at Life After News. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. Jason Ball or at Life After News Pod, or both. Also check me out on LinkedIn. I love to post there. It's a great place to talk shop. All right, thanks everybody. If you love the show, please give us good ratings, share it with your friends, subscribe. We need all the support we can get. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.